Hey guys, I'm gonna give you a quick little tour of my survival kit. This has been. I hate this tripod, but yeah. Anyways, this has been packed since like 2 years. I've barely made any modifications except for occasional replacements of old things or expired products. But hey, let's take a look inside. First of all, the case itself, it's a hard shell case. I think my dad got it off some airline. I used a hot knife to just put in my initials. As you can see, the leather is wearing a bit off, but it doesn't really matter as long as the case is hard and watertight. I open it up. The first thing we find is some soap. It's just some standard paper soap, and it's awesome. Next, you'll see I have some metal wire. This is insanely useful when you're like fishing or just trying to cut something. It has a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty jagged. So when you run it around a log, it's kind of acts like a wire saw. Of course, 2 more packs of soap. These are not opened, but hey, soap's pretty necessary. This is again metal wire, but it's about 7 to 8 feet long. So for putting up a shelter or fishing, whatever. We have a couple of bandages, pretty standard, just bandages for injuries. Next, we have a very large handkerchief. I think this is a meter squared, and inside is where I keep most of my important stuff. A waterproof, low ink usage pen, like it has a ton of ink capacity. Like it may look low, but I used this for like half the school year and it went this much, so I'm pretty sure it can survive a couple of weeks in a survival situation, even if I'm writing 24/7. I don't remember where I got this, but it's a screwdriver pen thingy. It's pretty compact, that's why I kept it. Some precision tweezers, pretty sharp, so I keep them in their sheath. And we just have a very sharp cutter blade. Oop, I think that's starting to rust. I'll have to replace that soon. But yeah, it's just standard stuff. Mind you, this is the only blade I have in here. I used to have a smaller kitchen knife in there, but I realized you don't really need all that. You can just make a hand axe out of rock in like 2 hours if you know what you're doing. And I've cut trees and made bows and arrows with that before, but that's a video for another time. The handkerchief itself, as I said, it's clean as possible. I want this to act like a splint and stuff when needed. Okay, now this is the main compartment. Lots of small things. All the big things are gone now. We have a simple sewing kit. I think my dad also got this off another airline. Travel stuff is very compact, so it gives you the essentials right there for suturing or repairing clothes, whatever. You just have some, I think this is used for makeup, but I found it's pretty good for gauzing injuries without a full-size bandage. So like use this, maybe some string, maybe some tape, maybe these bandages, and it all just works together really well. Okay, I'm just trying not to mess up. I'm trying to do this in one take. So yeah, we have a lot of alcohol swabs. Well, I'm diabetic, so these are just lying around the house. I realize it sounds very stupid, a diabetic going hiking and getting lost, but it's possible, alright? Hey. But yeah, alcohol swabs, injuries, very important for disinfection. Just in a package, use one of them or two of them. They're amazing. Next up, we have a trusty flashlight. Even after all these years, it still has a dim light, but it also has a hand crank, so it actually gets pretty bright, and you can just turn it off. Turn it off and charge it. I've seen it works pretty well. You just need to turn it like 200 times for about 20 minutes of charge. It's pretty good. You can just do that in your free time. It also has a sturdy metal keyring, which I have not done much of now, but it will be pretty useful because any type of metal is useful. That's why I chose this. Plus, it also securely attaches to wherever you want it. Moving on, we have this. Now, this may seem stupid. It's a shoe polishing thingy. The thing is that the top has a flammable liquid sponge and the bottom has literal steel wool embedded into like this plastic foam thingy. So even though it seems stupid, it's a great fire starter in case of emergencies. Oh, and also smaller bandages. Pretty standard. These ones are waterproof, those ones weren't. They were larger, but these are waterproof. We have a ridiculously powerful neodymium magnet which has sucked up all the safety pins and paper clips out of their position. Safety clips are actually an amazing hack. You can make them into fishing hooks, you can turn them into just like securing posts for your stuff. They can act as a carabiner if you need. And paper clips are much of the same. They're just the only downside to the paper clips I can think is that they're not sharp. But hey, I always keep one in case of an urban survival emergency. You can lockpick with them. They're awesome. Next, the star of the show, some thick string, but I made sure it's breakable. I don't know what's it with it today, but it's pretty breakable usually. Great for fishing, great for that. It won't break on its own, but when you try to, it breaks. I've seen it can hold up to like 20 kilos, which is pretty standard. And it's pretty long. I've just reeled it up. Like it came reeled, I unreeled it like half once and I've just re-reeled it over and over. Hey, this is some mental support. I just have some personal motivation, goals and shit on this. I think this came out of a book. I found that book pretty nice. The whole book wasn't. I think this was the promo of a book. Yeah, I think it was called Great Dream, and it's just things to do. And hey, survival, the hardest part isn't physical but mental most of the time. Yes, you can die of water poisoning and food poisoning, but you'll die sooner if you lose hope. Matches in a Ziploc bag, very important. You can't always guarantee a fire, and this is just the cherry on top to guarantee it. Chalk, great for marking stuff, remembering stuff, washes away easily. It's just standard calcium carbonate. Like, mark down a tree where you want to cut it, and you'll get a perfectly even line. Mark down measurements and stuff. Who cares? Oh yeah, I'll get to this later, yeah. Hairpin, again, great for lockpicking, etc. etc. Yeah, this. This is epoxy gum. I think it's called M-Seal here in the Indian subcontinent. Yeah. It's pretty standard. You tear open the packets, put it together, and it's very, very strong. Like, this ain't going nowhere. And it's great for blocking stuff up, waterproofing and stuff. It's kind of like Flex Seal, but it's epoxy. Hey, a longer piece of chalk. I think that smaller one actually broke off of this one. Again, this has been in here a long time. Finally, not finally actually, but towards the end, we have some tissues which I actually vacuumed the air out of and crushed them, but I think they've reinflated. I think there's some perforations here. Yeah, there are some perforations. That must have got the air back in. They're pretty compact. This actually is the largest volume of anything in the pack. Some sanitizer, some sticky tape, and some lens cleaner. Now, this is not pure alcohol. This is different. Great for starting fires, not for disinfecting though. This will hurt you. This is extremely basic in nature. What this does do though, I've seen, is repel mosquitoes for some reason. It's flammable, it repels mosquitoes. Yeah, it's awesome. We have ORS. Who doesn't know ORS? It's awesome. Prevents you from dying of thirst when you have only a little bit of water. And we have some medical scissors. I accidentally poked myself there. They're pretty sharp. I think they're bending. I may have to straighten them out. I'll do it. But hey, that's my pack. So tell me guys if there's any improvements I should make or what you liked, and KGKK out.